your mind is alleviated, then you feel peace of mind. You feel a great relief from the violence of the restlessness of your mind, the turmoil of an unregulated, if that's the word to use, or uncontrolled is better, mind. There's a great relief when you feel peace of mind. But that isn't the true happiness which you want. That's the negative aspect of happiness. That's a relief from a turmoil. That will not satisfy you because the thing will come up again and start up again. But true happiness is the positive thing. True happiness is natural with the soul itself. True happiness is God. Now that's what you want. And that comes from fulfilled desire of the highest type. To know God, to be one with Him, to know and demand and claim your birthright as a child of God. That's true happiness. And that's true fulfilled desire, because in God you'll find all fulfillment. You may have 16 houses. You will not be happy. You may have no houses in God and be the happiest person in the world, because all fulfillment is in God, complete and eternal. Now, when you have the money, you feel good. If you lose the money, how do most people feel? But when you have God, you will feel eternally happy. Not for any length of time, but inexhaustible, eternal. That's what true happiness is. That's what we have to create from worldly happiness, and even peace of mind is not the answer, but the positive aspect of happiness, which is our natural state of consciousness, because we are waves in the great ocean of spirit of which we have been singing and meditating upon this morning. And that ocean is God's bliss and peace. That's happiness we want. That's what we must create. And so, true happiness, realize, or the bliss of the soul, is natural. It lies in the soul, and it is natural and spontaneous. It's bubbling up there, but we have so many troubles, discords, that it can't bubble up. It's just covered up, so to speak. And so realize that happiness is the natural state of being. It cannot be acquired through any external means, by the money you have or the position you have or whatnot. It is the natural state of consciousness. It cannot be acquired by artificial means or outward means. It comes of itself. When you remove the obstructions and the inhibitions, then the happiness of God's presence within you, or God Himself, who is bliss, will be there. Remember, happiness, true happiness, not just happiness or pleasure. True happiness is natural and spontaneous. You do not have to create it, you just have to allow it to come up and bubble up within you. Now, going on just a little bit, we see illustrations of this naturalness of happiness within us, this spontaneousness of happiness. We find it in children, little children. They're jumping around and joyful. Why? Because that natural bliss of the soul is bubbling up in them. They've just come over, so to speak, not too long ago, from being with the source of happiness, true happiness, the presence of God within them. And so they're naturally that way. And they feel buoyant, and God's love and His bliss and happiness bubbles up within them. But later in life, when they get mixed up in many things, and marriage and all sorts of things, marriage seems to be the culprit, but that's not the only thing. Listen, I can point out to you many happily married people. Why? Because they've made God first in their life. One of the greatest saints was Larry Masha. He was married. That's why he was the saint he is. And that's why he's one of our gurus, to show that marriage isn't the cause of unhappiness altogether. There are other things. And the thing is that we must claim our birthright. We must, as these little children, be spontaneously happy, which is our natural state of consciousness. A little story comes to my mind. I just thought of it just a minute ago. And so I have brought it along. It is this, and it has to do with a Boston minister, so, although it didn't happen to me, even though I do come from Boston. But this minister from Boston was walking along the street, and he came upon this group of joyful urchins. They were jumping around and yelling and hollering, and he says, and round them they had a dog of doubtful pedigree, just a little pup they had. And so the minister said, "Boys," he says, "what goes on here anyway?" Oh, one of them says, "We're just swapping lies," he says. "The one who can tell the greatest lie gets the pup." And so he says, my boys, he says, "When I was a boy," he says, "I never told a lie like that." So all the kids hollered, "You win, the pup's yours." Oh, there you are. Natural exuberance of children, even though they are urchins around a pup. Now that we've got that off our minds, so to speak, there are others who are naturally and spontaneously happy, and they are the saints. They are the saints. They feel the great joy of God's presence in everybody, and especially when they can help someone. They feel that natural joy and exuberance. Because why? They see God in everyone. They see God in the sinner, and they see Him in the saint. And so they feel God in everything. They have found out that God alone is the answer. Whether it be happiness or opulence or whatever it is God alone, and the saints feel that. And so having Him, feeling God in everybody, that natural joy of God is bubbling up in them.